What's new over New World?
Nothing too much, man. I have an interesting business story that I from one of my old partners that kind of came up. I think you kind of knew about him, but it's kind of interesting. It's kind of something that I think people, if they are being an entrepreneur, something that may want to look at or always look out for, because I have him. He wasn't the highest of morals, and now he's trying to reclaim money that was spent with one of my companies, saying that certain jobs weren't being done when we have all the proof that it was being done. So he's trying to pull money back and get it like refunded to him for work that was already done out of my old e-commerce business, that particular partner. So greed always steps in. So it was a really interesting thing. I've got my attorneys looking at it and they're like, this is hilarious. This is really funny that this would even happen, or someone would even try it. So it's really interesting to see that people in business, the greed, I've been experiencing that this last week with they just try to access things that they think they can get,
Mhm.
and they think that they can earn, but they haven't earned. Like, I launched that company to everything that it was, and so it's interesting to see that now he wants to get money back. So that was an interesting thing that happened with me this last week, or 2.5 weeks, I should say.
Yeah.
I don't know if
So
you've ever experienced anything like that or had any stories with or heard anything like that, because this is my first time.
right. So he feels that he's entitled to some of the money that was already spent for the business.
Yeah. He wants it back,
Yeah, good luck with that.
right?
Aw.
So you get good representation. You can't handle things on your own. It's not my wheelhouse. I don't know how to fight this. I just did the work, you know what I mean? So just
Yeah.
gotta have your representation. But that's another thing too, I think in entrepreneurialism is like you gotta make sure that you have representation. You gotta make sure that you have people that can do jobs for you that you can't even do yourself. Because I wouldn't know how to approach this any other way. So yeah, it's interesting. I had never experienced this before, nor have I met anybody, I don't think, that has experienced this. So, yeah, I was wondering if you had maybe run into that. In yesterday's meeting, we were just
Okay. So a little backstory on yesterday's meeting was really funny. I was telling some people, I'll tell the chat here. Ferdinand and Mahesh and Mark were all arguing with each other about something, and I'm just like totally zoned out. I was like, mom and dad are arguing, and I'm over in the corner just like listening. It was really funny to me.
and that went on for like that was like a half hour that we went on. But, in order to launch a company like what we're doing here, you've got to have those type of confrontations to make everything kind of come together well. So we have great partnerships. I think, nobody be afraid of confrontation. I think it's extremely healthy. But
Mm.
yeah, I did feel like you were kind of sitting in the corner yesterday. I'm like, oh, poor Chris.
Well, you guys are talking all this stuff that I'm absolutely clueless about. So I'm just like checking my stock charts, doing my thing. Listening to you guys go at it.
Yeah, that was an interesting meeting. We got to the bottom of it though, so that's
Oh
the
yeah.
good thing. So
For sure. And of course, the objective here is to make Outlier better at all times, right?
that's
I mean,
all we
at the end
want.
of the day, that's the only thing we're doing this for.
That's it. That's it. We all have the same goal. It was just, we have to come to a agreement of what we need to do. So yeah.
Right, for
We're
sure.
in store for something special coming up with us. We all are doing some good stuff for you. Everybody here on the back end to where
That's
things are gonna
right.
be easier.
Have you been trading any crypto or anything the last couple weeks?
I haven't. I've been so, like, consumed with what was going on with this last partner of mine that it's been an interesting couple of weeks of just trying to navigate through that and talk to counsel and, um, yeah, that's pretty much been it. I do know one of my buddies, he runs street cop training. He trains like 40,000 cops across the nation. They've developed this, I think it's kind of, it may be in working order right now, but they developed an AI app that will go into, I think I was talking to you about this before, but it goes into the police cars and it uh, listens on an intonation and then sends that information back to the police stations to kind of show what's going on with the police interaction. So if voices escalate, then it shows what's going on. If something does something a certain way, it reports that back. So it's really interesting to see where AI is taking things even within that realm of
Yeah.
voice and intonation recognition. It's like
Sounds like,
really
sounds like Minority Report, right? It's a thought
yes.
crime. Yeah.
Yeah. It's exactly like that, man. It was pretty amazing to hear what he was talking about. I was like, "Whoa, dude, that's pretty cool." Now, who does it work for? Is it better for the victim? Is it better for the police? Is it better for, let's say, if it's some crazy person, does that help out mental health? Like it's wondering how it all like will be kind of categorized when it gets filed in. That's my programming thinking. It's like, where does it
Yeah.
go? Who does it go to? Who's monitoring that? And then who handles that particular information when it comes in?
Well, I think what you're doing though, as far as like not being invested, not making trades, is actually really smart. That's what I would tell people, right? Um, if you've got life circumstances that are in the way, right, you won't be able to focus
Yes,
on your
you're
trading,
right.
right? If you've got a death in the family, if you've got problems with a business partner, right, that kind of stuff is going to weigh on you, and you may make the wrong financial choices in more than one regard.
100%. That because your mind, I've gone in and I've looked at it, of course, but I think I'm so well versed now that if I can't be like how my son says, if I can't be locked in, then I'm not going to sit there and try to, because I've lost so much that way, just not paying attention. So you're absolutely right with that.
Yeah. And that's why it's important too to find like a routine, right? Because for me, it's always 2 p.m. Central Time, right? I know where I'm going to be. I'm going to be sitting in this chair, looking at that screen, making sure that
Mm.
I'm making the right trades. And I think that's really useful for setting that routine for your lifestyle as well as like your headspace, right? Because it's like for you, if that was your routine and you can't make it at 2 p.m., it's going to be running through your mind in the back of your mind, like, oh man, I don't know if I can do this or not today, right? Oh, I need to do this or that, right? And it causes all these other issues that you don't need to deal with, right?
Right,
When it comes to trading, when it comes to investing, you really just want to execute your plan and not have any sort of distractions.
right.
So that makes total sense to me.
Yeah,
How's
yeah.
uh how's soccer going with your son?
Oh, it's going really good, man. He made this new premier team. We were kind of nervous there for a minute because he went from one team and his coach was like, "You need to go to a different program to challenge you more." So, yeah, he went to this new this it's called Washington Premier. So it's a club that has now a new contract with La Liga. So the top players get to go travel to Spain and
Oh,
play over there. So yeah, he's really good. Like it's not like a rec type player. Like he wants to go play for the Sounders. He's got a professional coach. Like he trains with some D1 and some, semi-pro players, and he's only 12. So
oh, wow.
yeah, he's good, man. He's been playing since he's been 4. So he's really focused. His game IQ is good. His vision of the field is good. His passes are like literally like laser precise. He's always loving to assist. He doesn't hog the ball. He switches like he knows the game. So all the coaches that we talk to, they're like, you can't teach this, and he's coachable. So it's like, okay, cool. Let's all invest in you. Yes, MLS next. Yes, senor. Absolutely, senor Wahoo. Yes, that is the goal. MLS next. He is my investment. So I'm hoping that
Yeah.
investment will return very nicely for me.
Yeah, I really appreciate that because like I this has been the best week of my life trading. And somebody was mentioning, like well, I forget the exact quote, but it was something in the Discord. It's like everyone has their thing, and this is my thing, right? And this is how I can get paid big bucks in the span of a week because I sit in cash, I don't f up, and I've
Oh,
been studying this
you made
game.
some crazy money. Mahesh was saying this last week or last
Yeah,
couple of weeks.
it's life-changing money in the span of a week. And like
Good for
it's
you,
the
man.
biggest blessing ever, right? And part of it is just waiting for the pitch, right? Waiting for exactly what you need to see and then go, right?
Not to
And
cut you off, but let me ask you this.
yeah.
With this success that you've had, was was it purely Chris, or was it Chris an outlier, or was it outlier and then Chris's knowledge on top of that? Like what do you see with this success that you've had in this last few weeks that's different from prior, if there is anything?
Well, part of it is knowing what to do, when to do, right? And so for me, like I knew my plan was going to print. I just had to wait for it to execute, right? And I've been waiting in cash since March, right?
Okay.
So 6 weeks, 8 weeks where I didn't do anything. and I made all these YouTube videos, and people are like, "Oh, this guy just talks so much shit. He doesn't actually do any trading or whatever." And it's like I'm just waiting for my pitch
Mhm.
when everything is lined up together, right? It's like if you are, it's like if you're going surfing, right?
Right.
Only one or two of those giant waves that you can get on and just ride, and it's going to be the most beautiful thing ever.
Yeah. Yeah.
And every little one, every once in a while, you're like, "Oh, not quite, not quite," and then you see the big one, and you're like, "Oh, here we go."
Yeah.
And you start
Right.
paddling, you jump on your, and I've never, I don't know what I'm talking about, but then the waves just push you like crazy, right? That's what it's like, and that's what it feels like, and that's why I tell people, effort should be, or trading should be effortless, right? You wait, and that's the hard part, Ferdinand. You probably know this too. It's so hard to sit in cash, right? When you've got all this money that could be doing something.
Yeah, because you're like, it could be doing something more. Like it's just sitting here. Let me make something with it. Like I'm going through that right now. We're getting ready to invest in another business that because my wife is working for a company that's going out of business and she gets bored. And so I'm like, I wanted her to work with one of my other businesses, but we tried it and I'm just too much of like, I'm too harsh. I'm too hard. Like my expectations are too high. So, and it's rough on a relationship for what I want. So I'm like, okay, let's do this. So it's like we're doing some like dry ice blasting business because with AI things are really taking over and I think things are going to shift and all of my contacts that are like doing massive AI jobs at the government, they're like, you got to be team human in the next like 18 months to 5 years, because if you're not team human, AI is going to take over everything. And then the psychological effects go into that with employees because they don't understand what their worth and their value is because now AI is taking over. So we're shifting into some more service-based industries that we can then just kind of duplicate and then replicate and then um, sell. So she's going to take that over. She's all excited about it and getting everything planned. So
Yeah, dude, I've watched a couple of those. So, sometimes you go down like a YouTube Shorts rabbit hole, or a TikTok rabbit hole or whatever. One time I went through this one, and it was dry ice cleaning. It was this old
mhm,
like 80s BMW, and they had dry ice, and they were just like,
shooting it
it
through.
was the most amazing thing I've ever seen. Just like beautiful, pristine metal underneath all this nastiness and gunk just evaporated by the dry ice. It was so cool.
It's amazing, man. And then when you look at what it can do, we have like Navy ports, so a lot of ships and boats, so rust and everything that gets on. And not only that, with dry ice, you can treat. One of my best friends is a manager. It's one of the head guys at Boeing that manages like 3 different plants. So all the equipment in there because you can treat like microchips and with dry ice because there's it's not going to get wet. It can treat all those little things, EPA friendly. So kind of makes sense with where things are going. All the oil that drill baby drill, the cleaning that's going to need to be done with that for commercial jobs. So it just made kind of sense to get into that and then give her something to do, man. Like I don't want her
Mm,
sitting at home not doing anything. And it's
okay.
like,
Dude, my
you know,
wife is the same way. So my wife has worked in education forever and ever. And I put her on a path. I'm like, you're not gonna have to do this anymore.
right?
And when we were talking, I'm like, you gotta do something. You can't sit at home, because I'm telling you, every Christmas, Easter, Thanksgiving, summer, you name whatever break it was, where she's home for more than 3 days at a time, she goes stir crazy. Now, I can be at home all day, every day, like I do already, and I'm good for it. I have no issues with this. She needs that social interaction. She needs being around other people. And I'm like, listen, once I take you out and you don't have to do this anymore, you got to do something. So I don't know if
Yeah.
she's going to be in dry ice, but she's got to do something, right? She's like, oh my God, I could like open a boutique and I could buy all these cute clothes and I can sell it to all these other girls, right? So here in Texas, she has this company it's a boutique store, but I call it
Right,
boutique.
yeah, gotta get
Sounds
the
so nice.
pronunciation right.
Yes. So this boutique store, and it has an app on her phone, and she watches this app, and it's just one after another. Y'all, look at this shirt. Is this not the cutest shirt you have ever seen? Y'all, look at this hat. Y'all, have you seen this hat today? Oh my God, y'all, it is so cute. Over and over and over, and she just like falls for every bit of it. Oh my gosh, she falls. I mean, hundreds of dollars a day, and I'm like, stop. Just delete that app from your phone. You do not need this in your life. And So she's like, "Oh my god, I could open up a boutique like this, and it would be so cute. And I could go on the YouTubes, and I could be like, hey y'all, look at this. Isn't this so cute?" So yeah, that is absolutely my
Have
wife to
you
a
in the
T.
background with the outlier hat.
Yeah, there you go.
Uh, yeah, I get that, man, because it's, they wanna have your wife wants to have something, and, like, she was like, "If I don't do anything, my mind gets," she just gets bored, and she's not challenging herself, so, and I'm a little bit too harsh with things, and his wife needs the interaction. It's a golden
Yeah, she
oldie.
get that interaction from me. I'm nerding out on YouTube all day. Duh. Dude, I'm telling you, my wife, as far as like finance goes, if I talk to her about anything, it's immediate eyes glazing over like she's a
Mm.
donut, right? Just instant. I have no idea what you're talking about. The only thing she cares about is that card going to swipe. As long as the card
Uh,
swipes, that's all that matters to her. So we have our roles in the relationship. You know what I mean?
it makes no, you get that makes sense because and it's a happy balance, and doesn't your was your is it your wife or is it Mark's wife that no, I think it's Mark's wife with coupons. Um,
Mark's wife. Yeah.
yeah, but it's then you look at Mark, how he's so, like, it's like it matches, you just gotta have those matching relate my wife is the same way, she does not care about anything business. I have to kind of teach her and train her, like, she's more interested in this new thing that we're doing because she can do the customer service part, um, and the billing and all that, but marketing, website stuff, sales, she's not gonna do any of that, like, that I gotta make sure that, looking at people to hire and then interacting with AI, making sure AI is taking over for her to do certain things. Um, so yeah, but you got to make them feel like they can do what they want. Cause I don't want to be the type of husband that's like, no, don't do that. Don't do that. You got to do that. Like, no, do what you want to do. It's your life. Have fun. Be free. What can I help you with?
Yeah.
Just don't come work for me. because
I heard about a guy who his wife started a boutique, and he basically was like, this boutique cost me so much, so many thousands of dollars a month to run. It's not profitable, but it gives her something to do.
gives her some,
Right.
yeah. Yeah.
And I'm hoping that whatever she does doesn't cost me thousands of dollars a month.
I want to go
But
net
I'm
negative.
scared for that because like she's got to do something, man. Like if she sat at home all day with me, she would go absolutely bonkers. I would probably be, those Netflix series where it's like the true crime documentary of a murder, and it like goes through every episode, and it's like, in the fall of 2025,
Yes. Yeah.
things were like this, and then a couple it transports like a couple months later, and then things got worse and worse, and then a couple months later she started adding antifreeze to his coffee every day in his ducktales mug, and then right, and then she ends up getting away with murder, right? So it would be absolutely something exactly like that. It would be exactly something like that. It's so funny.
Yeah, that's hilarious, man. Yeah, my wife is really we've known each other since I was 17, so we were like best friends then. We have just a great relationship. I just want to make sure that she's happy and feeling worthy. Sometimes when we get caught up with work, we can get so drilled in, or locked. Let me say locked in, like my son always says. That's just a new word that everybody says. You hear that all the time? Locked
Dude,
in.
you gotta get locked in or you're gonna get cooked. A new one that they started to do, that my kids were doing this. They're like, Dad, you're selling. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm not selling anything. They're like, no, you are selling. You are selling so hard. And I'm like, I know Outlier's doing great. They're like, no, Dad, you are selling like no one's business. And I'm like, what are you talking about?
What
They're
is
like,
it?
selling. It's like you suck. And I'm like,
Oh,
what? You are
okay. That's
using the wrong word of the English language. Say it right.
Yeah, yeah, you got me on okay, that's now I know if he says that to me, I know what he's talking about because I didn't know what that was until you brought this up.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that is hilarious, man. That is but I think, with does your wife know where, like, Outliers going? Have you talked to her, like, with where we're gonna be?
So my wife is exceptionally pragmatic.
Okay.
She was valedictorian of her high school. I've
Mhm.
known her since she was 21. I was 18. We met in college, and her whole deal with trading, with everything else, has been, I'll believe it when I see it.
Mm,
And then
gotcha.
when I showed her, she's like, oh, okay. Where can we buy a new house? You're like, okay, I believe you now. Let's go.
That's great, man. I mean, it's just really cool to see. I mean, you're just one person using Outlier, like all the people that are here in here and that are using it to know that you're kind of with you, Mark and Mahesh. behind everything and having that very conservative, very, you know,
Risk first. That's what I describe it as.
yeah, but it's a very educated view. So I guess what I'm trying to say, it's not inflated. It's not like you've made things to be greater than what they are. It's like every time I've talked to you, Mahesh or Mark, everything is way lower than what it more than likely really is. So the success that you're having with it and the success that everybody else is having with Outlier, to see what's going to be happening in the future with what's going on, this is going to be life changing, I'm sure, for a lot of people. I mean, I really think that. I really
Dude,
do.
so let's ask the chat. If you followed my trades this week, like tell us some of the returns that you got. Like not from me, right? I know I made 96% on my Robinhood trade. I know I'm up over 100% on my Palantir trade. You tell me in the chat some of the results that you've seen this week, right? And it's really hard to wait for these, right? It's super super hard. Like Ryan says, it's been life changing. Yeah.
Wow.
Mikey Mike says 91% on one trade. Peter said he made 20% this week on a trade.
20% they didn't have.
It is absolutely game changing, life changing money that you can make in a very short amount of time. Like we go at 76%,
Palantir.
at 90%. So Brian's entire trading account is up 46% this week.
Dude.
Dr. J is up 34% this week.
Is it
Michael
okay?
up 24%.
From everybody here, is this from Outlier itself, or is this from them learning from you? What's the like, that's what I'm interested in. Is like,
Good
is
question.
it coming from you, or is it coming from Outlier? Is it coming from both?
This is a great question. Let's see. So Ozzy's up 10% on his account. So is Antonio. So is Theo. Corey made 120% on one of the trades, right?
Corey, good job, bro.
Yeah. Senior Wahoo is up 28%. Arturo following 95 or made 95% following Chris plus my Tesla trade. Speaking of Teslas, so you know I've got a Tesla. I have got this new thing going on with my car, which is annoying me. And it says the charging port is overheating. And I'm like, what? What are you talking? The charging port is overheating. So now that's something I got to deal with my car.
Interesting.
I love my car, Ferdinand. But I'll tell you, two things have changed in my life. So we have a lake house in Arkansas, and me, my dad, and my kids went up there a couple of weeks ago, and we took my wife's Lexus SUV, clearly a gas car, and we ran up there, and I normally take my Tesla everywhere. We have to stop once or twice to get up there and do our thing, and I have to charge it while we're there, and then stop once or twice on the way back. But this was I'm running up there, I'm running back kind of situation, and we took her car, and we didn't have to stop. We didn't have to worry about charging. We didn't have to do anything.
You're like, this is
I got
great.
back, and I told my wife, I was like, I don't want to admit this. I do not want to admit this. But you're 100% right. It is so not the car to take on road trips, because it was so much easier to take your car. And she's like, told you so.
Yeah. Yeah. We have a friend that lives in Palm Springs, and she commutes into Huntington Beach, and how she has to stop, and it's not efficient. So, okay. So they're saying both. You're saying in here, I'm Outlier, Uni. Okay. So this is really interesting. That is really
okay.
So awesome.
Outlier and Chris, he helps understand how to use Outlier. Right.
That's great. And it's only going to get better. Like, we're just really getting started with this, guys. You guys just don't understand, like, our meetings that we have. Like, we're just really getting started. Like, you guys are, this will be life-changing for a lot of people. I'm really happy to see that.
Peter says his results are 10% Peter, 40% Chris, 40% Outlier, and 10% luck.
There you go. The 10% luck. Let's keep that. I like that. That's keeping it honest.
Anomaly made 98% on his Outlier. Yep. Oh, Theo says, following Chris and ready to know about Outlier University. Did somebody allow me to make a transition to talk about Outlier University?
Are you ready? Let's go!
Respect is earned. Respect is never given.
There we go. Ferdinand, I'm sure you heard about it already, but Outlier University is happening, right? Every Tuesday, every Thursday at 3 p.m. Eastern time, we are going live, and I'm going to teach everybody that watches live plus the 8 gentlemen who join me in the room to learn directly from me, plus everybody who gets to watch the replay, everything that I know. Ferdinand, what we're doing here is going to change lives. And I'm telling you, man, if by the end of Outlier University, you aren't profitable, it's not me, it's you.
Right.
Because I'm giving you everything. In fact, I saw a couple of comments the other day. Somebody was like, "Oh, I lost so much money listening to Chris. He's so stupid, blah, blah, blah." And I'm like, bro, how? I have so many people tell me every day how much money they've made, how much money they've saved from making stupid mistakes, and how much money they've saved from getting out of a trade that was continuing to lose. If you're the one guy who is losing based on what I'm talking about, it's not me, bro. It's you.
Right.
So I'm so stoked to go through Outlier University. Are you also tuning in? I'm very curious.
Yeah, I am going to be, because I want to learn more of this. I get kind of caught up with like the back end of stuff with Outlier and trying to get everything else like with my job with it. So I have to make the time and then also clear my head that I'm not thinking about, like, if I'm watching this, oh, I've got an hour that I'm 15 minutes that I'm doing this, and I'm thinking about I should be doing this. So it's that whole thing of like trying to weigh it out. And I'm so committed to like where we need to get our goals this year with Outlier, because the time's, keeps ticking. So it's like I'm trying to push to get things going, like, for the end of the year for Outlier. So I'm going to be tuning in because I got to learn this stuff. I can't tell you if I'm going to be like 100% there. In all honesty, I'll probably be like 70 to 80% there because I'll be thinking.
That's okay, Ferdinand, because all the replays will be free on YouTube forever. We're going to change lives every single day, my friend. Don't you stress on it. I got a chance to do my presenter voice.
I'm so glad that we did this. Like, this was such an amazing. It's going to be so great. It's going to be so great. So great.
I agree for sure. Yeah. So Ferdinand, speaking of things that are so great, thanks for hanging out with us today. It's great to hang out with you.
Love being it, man. I love being here with you. This is seeing everybody here that's just growing every week, the people that join us. I mean, this is just really cool, really humbling to see. So I'm so appreciative of it.
So before we jump off real quick, so I've been really pushing the YouTube thumbnail, like clickbait game, really hard. And somebody called me out on our Discord, and I said, listen, if I don't do it this way, we don't get eyeballs, because the clickbait gets the eyes get the views turn into outliers, and therefore we help more people. So this is the game that I have to play, right? I don't want to play it, and I didn't play it for the 2,000 videos I made beforehand that nobody watched.
Right.
But now that I play the game and we get thousands of people who watch these, I'm actually changing lives, and this is amazing. This is the best. So I have to do
to win the game. Yep. You got to play the game to win the game. I mean, that's right. It's just marketing. That's all it is. It's not like we're trying to, be, what's the word I'm looking for? Shady. It's just marketing.
All right, man, I'll let you go. You guys have a fantastic day. Be sure you save time, make money, and start winning with less risk by clicking one of these 2 videos, and we'll talk soon.